Hello people. Right, this is our Friday the 26th of June movement snack, and we are focusing on progress checks. Each and every Friday we have a go at progress checks, 2 of them in fact. We're going to have a go at the chair rise, which is a sit to stand. There are some variables in there as well. There are some lower level alternatives for you, and also the 4 position of the feet balance challenge. So that's what we've got up. As well as standing balance, we can also replicate whatever we're doing in seated as well. So it can fit where you are at the minute. It might be your starting point, today's progress check. So if you like, you can jot things down, make a record of them so that you can look back at that record as we travel through each week. You'll be able to compare the differences, the progress, the improvements that make movement your mission, and all of your crowbarring has on the way you are, the way you do stuff, how well you feel, etc, etc. Right, we've got 10 lurking in the background, and Carol saying hello. Mrs P, she's in from the PTP, Port Talbot Posse, first one in, pretty much. That's the run of the day, isn't it, Chris? You're always here first, and it's great to have you as well. Cloudy in Glasgow today. We have another humid day here today. It's quite warm. I've not got the luxury of having the door open today like I did in yesterday's movement snack to get that nice through breeze, but hopefully we'll get by. I've got a couple of crowbar challenges coming in for you at the end of this movement snack, so hopefully there'll be lots of things for us to check on with ourselves today, but also something that can lead us into bit more activity, bit more crowbarring in for this afternoon. Oh, Sheila, don't apologise for missing yesterday. It sounds like you were doing something really nice with your granddaughter. Was it granddaughter? Di Ross, she's here today with Somerset as a backdrop. As lovely as always, the Somerset countryside. I have actually got a timer with me today, so this is your 2-minute till midday time check. I've had to hijack one of the girls' iPads. I might need some help working it by the little one that's sat over here, but we'll see how we go. Here's G, Super G that is. Cut the grass, washing done, hung out on the line, shorts on. Great stuff. We don't need a picture then, because you're saying it's not a pretty sight. Vivian's here. Hello, Margaret. Brian's here. The second one from the collective checked in. You're all ticked off on the movement register. And Gillian, the J from the PTP. It's 11:59 from George. Thanks, George. I've actually got a timer today. Believe it or not, the headlines of the day, Kelsa's got a timer, but I might need help working it. We'll see how we go. Shrewsbury's in, all in a shorts. Lovely stuff. Do we need a knobbly knees competition? I think you've seen enough of my knobbly knees over previous movement snacks. Dave's always got his knobbly knees out, and Bex just occasionally has a bit of a knobbly knees on show, don't we? I reckon first, second, third. All joint first, maybe? I don't know. But that's another competition altogether, isn't it? Right, how are we doing for time? 12 noon. Right. If you want to see the full screen, swipe the comments over to the right-hand side. And here we go. 3, 2, 1. Good afternoon and welcome. My name's Kelsey Leverton from Later Life Training, here broadcasting from a humid and sunny Leicestershire countryside, and today is Friday the 26th of June, and we know what Fridays mean, don't we? It means progress check day. So hopefully if you want to record your progress, you've been jotting it down from week to week. Now you can look back at those progress checks and it just gives you a gauge and a measure of how you've been doing over the how many ever weeks you've been with us on this movement mission. I'm sure stuff has changed, but sometimes it's just a little bit difficult as changes can come quite subtly sometimes, and we don't necessarily notice them. But with a progress check, we've got some clear evidence where we are in our journey through the movement mission. Let's get circulation boosting. Less of this, more of this. So, bringing yourselves into standing or into a forwards position in your chair, using the hip walks, your bottoms on the front third of the chair. Sitting up or standing up as tall as you can through your middle, lengthening through the spine. Shoulders, if you want, just give them a couple of rolls back and down. That up, round, back and down opens the chest and sits the shoulders in a better postural position. Lengthening through the neck. Cue, start. Take hold of your support if you need it. Starting with some easy foot pedals, bringing a crease across the front of your toes there, really lifting the heels, moving through the ankles, knees and hips in standing. In seated, not so much movement through the knees, they're moving because the heels are lifting. When we bring it into a leg march, we will have a little bit more hip movement going on. So if you're ready to do that, start to lift and peel the feet away from the floor, should I say. Heels, ball, toes on the lift, toes, ball, heel on the lower. Pick your pace. Make sure it's a rhythmical pace, not too fast, not too slow. Holding on, lengthening through. We only need a minute or so of this circulation boosting just to get things switching on. Movement through the joints, muscles working, brain switched on to body. That's what we need to really focus on. Posture stuff and specific movements that we're asking from these movement missions. Take a pause. If you want to keep your feet going, actually, please do. Let's get an arm swing. On the go. So just one arm you might be starting with a bit of handheld support. Swinging from the shoulder. Let me just switch to the side so that you can see that motion there. It's exactly the same in seated. If you are happy to freestand and swing the arms, then you do that. In the seat, if you've not got your feet going at the moment and you want to bring arms and legs together, maybe just pause with the arms and then pause with the arms, get the legs in and then add the arms in. It can be an easier transition than getting the arms to move as the legs are moving. Okay, right, so I think today we will start with our chair rise checks. So we're going to be timing you over a 30-second period. You may not be able to come into standing just yet, may not feel ready to do that. If you can come into standing, but you perhaps couldn't sustain your sit to stands over a 30-second period, then you might be taking a number from how many sit to stands you've done versus how many jockey lifts you might do to kind of fill out the rest of that time. It's the same if you're beginning with some bum squeezes, how many of those can you do? And how many jockey lifts can you do? So that we might be taking numbers from certain different parts of whatever the options are here. Right, let me get my timer on the go. If you want to just have a bit of a rehearsal of those moves, remember with sit to stands and jockey lifts, we want our feet tucked back, heels down, bringing the chest forwards and a power up through the legs. Now once you're in the top here, if you feel happy to sit straight back down, then that's absolutely fine. However, some of you might prefer just taking a bit of a step back so that your legs are touching the chair and then lower back down. Control on the lower as always. Right, what's your password?
0603.
06. Right. So, if you're ready in the position that you'd like to start in, getting ready for either a jockey lift, a bum squeeze, or a full sit to stand, here's your countdown. Starting now, off you go. Keep going, people. If your sit to stands are done, then you can revert to some jockey lifts. If your jockey lifts are done, you can revert to some bum squeezes, but keep count. We're nearly done. Stop. Right, take your pen, jot that down. What did you get? Let's turn that off, make sure it doesn't come back on again. Okay, so make a record of that. Also, you might want to make a record of if you did need to move your feet backwards before you sat down or not. These are just some variables here that are worth making a note of. All right, so that gives us a bit of an indication on our ability to sit to stand and also how well our muscles are doing in our lower body, especially fronts of thighs. Moving on then to the next progress check. It's your 4-foot position balance challenge. So in seated and in standing, we will all begin with our feet together. Feet and knees if you can, but certainly the feet close together as you can get them. In seated and in standing, we just focus on posture, and in standing, if you need to hold on to the support to put your feet into position, then that's fine to do that. However, when we are into our 10-second count, we're aiming to hold for 10 seconds, we need to release our support so that we are freestanding. Okay, focusing on posture. You might feel a bit wobbly. If you do need to put your hand down or step out as a kind of compensatory step, an adjustment balance reaction step, then again, that's absolutely fine. It's what your body needs you to do, is respond and react. So as we go through the levels, to progress on up to the next level, you need to be able to hold the previous position for the full amount of time, which is 10 seconds. So we may not all get to the 4th level, okay? Whatever level you get to, it's level whatever and how many seconds you were able to maintain that balanced position in. So here we are with our first foot position. Take hold of support, or if you're remaining in the chair, hold on to the sides of the chair if you need to, and bring your feet and knees together. Take a moment just to sit or stand up tall, and then when you're ready to start counting the amount of seconds, then let go of your support. Perhaps keep your hand hovering close to the support just in case you need it. Same in seated, sitting up tall as you can. And that could easily be 10 seconds there. Just come back to a comfortable standing position. Okay, so if you've got 10 seconds there, that's level 1, 10 seconds, tick. Here's your level 2. Now, I'm going to show you with my hands the foot position we're going to try and get into now. So you're going to have 1 foot in front and 1 foot just slightly behind. So the toes on this foot are in the instep area of the other foot. So have a think about which foot you'd like to put in front. Seated, it's exactly the same. Sitting, standing up tall, move 1 foot slightly in front of the other. When you're ready, you count your own seconds. Try and keep breathing as you're holding and standing, in seated or in standing, really lifting through the posture. And when you've counted the amount of seconds, or you've completed 10 seconds, bring your feet back to normal. So if you wobbled a bit there and needed to touch down and you only got to 8 seconds, this is where your level lies, and just watch the rest of the levels as we go through rather than perhaps practice and record them. The third position then. So we're progressively getting more challenging with this. I'm going to turn to the side. Decide which foot you'd like to go in front, and you're going to place your feet on the same line as each other, as if you're just stepping onto the first step onto a tightrope. The knees are soft here, and we've got our weight organised evenly on front foot and back foot. If you're in seated, you might need to bring your back foot back a little bit so that you're able to keep the front foot flat. Sitting, standing, tall, breathing normally. Start to count up to your 10-second hold if you need it. Now, after this movement snack's finished, you may want to have a look at what your balance is like with the other foot in front. Okay, have a go at that just after we've completed this movement snack though, everyone. You may find it's slightly different from one side to the other. Happy with that? I don't know, let's move on anyway. So you may have touched down or wobbled or stepped at some point during those 10 seconds. So you're level 3 and how many seconds? Level 4 don't worry about, unless you completed the 10 seconds on the previous level. I've got Willow over there, she's hovering. So here's your one leg stand then. Now you might want to face your support with both hands on to begin with, it's up to you. Either way, choose which leg you're going to be standing on and lifting up. So I'm going to put my toes just out to the back on the leg that I'm lifting. I'm going to lift the leg first and then release the support. See if you can hold that for 10 seconds. I'm looking to the side to look at the camera. However, try and keep your eyes focused ahead. In the chair, you'll be lifting your knee upwards into a one leg stand there. Thinking about posture, the knees up, so potentially we could tip back. Try and stay forwards on your sit bones rather than roll onto your tailbone. Okay, and we have a 10-second hold with that one as well. All right, so hopefully you would have noticed some changes coming through there from your last week, your previous weeks, etc. Records of your movement progress checks. So really we're looking at balance skills, strength, lower limb, strength and power through the chair rise check that we did a moment ago. Right, I did say we'd have a couple of crowbar opportunities here. Well, a crowbar challenge I'm going to put this first one at. Now we all know it's been super hot and we've all been stifled. So my challenge to you, my crowbar challenge to you is, I've got a vase, look. Get yourself a super big vase, stick it in the fridge, or a pint, a couple of pints of water, and here's your crowbar challenge to get as much water down you as you can today. I've got one of these and another vase in the fridge. We're just using them as pure drinking vessels. Oh, she wants some. So let's see how you go with your fluid intake as well. And the final crowbar opportunity. I've got my Walking Dead Monopoly, which is zombies. I'm just going to use this to put my hands on because here's the lumbrical movement. We just love the name, don't we? I think. So this is good for knuckles, strengthening the palm of the hand, and we need hands, grip, dexterity in fingers, etc. for lots and lots of different tasks throughout the day. Gripping the saucepan, stirring things, using tools for the garden, all those kinds of things. So wrist strength we've focused on, and this movement as well can be very good for palm of hand. Fingers are lengthening there as well. Give that a few goes on right side, left side. So there we have your progress checks for this week. Week 14? I don't know, I forgot. Maybe we're week 15 next week. How exciting. So for the time being, that's me done. And you, if you can, get plenty of fluids down you and have a go at those crowbar crunches with that lovely lumbrical movement. Take care, you lot. See you tomorrow.